Few days ago I was posting you a time lapse of 1.0 patch that was making the AIs much more aggressive overall and doing some changes how much they expand. There was a lot of backlash about Bordergore that is being created by these AIs, so we've got a new update on that beta patch that is making plenty of changes, including AIs less likely not attack at all for exclaved lands, less focus on taking exclaved lands, and in general a few of improvements to AIs, how they perform, how much they take in the wars, and how often they declare the wars. Let's see how it actually impacted the AI's behavior on an example time-lapse. Since I left the game playing overnight, it played a bit beyond the end date of VO5, so we got 1867. Let's look first how Europe looks like. Well, we've got Great Britain that actually formed, but let's see, do they again got like sometimes someone here as a tributary? No, they just didn't conquer these lands for some reason. Instead, they conquered heavily into Europe. Especially into the Netherlands, which seem to be a very replicable action that AI England is doing in this current beta patches. We've got Spain that formed, and actually it's the really first time for a while that I've seen them beat Morocco hard and get into the Maghreb. But they didn't even fight with Tunis, that expanded into the islands here in the Mediterranean, which is good, but you also see Tunis in Athens, And you'll see Bulgaria in Tunis. That's still some exclaves happening, as you see, but at least Tunis is not keeping it for themselves. It's their subjects that is having that. Do I have the setting for the blended color? Yes, I do. This time Balkans are much cleaner than my previous time-lapse. We've got Bulgaria that united the most, and the current patch seems that Bulgaria is the strongest right now in the region. The previous patches wasn't really like that very often, and we'll be seeing exclaves like Georgia that appears as a subject, Georgia that has their own lands over here, Tunis that has their own lands here, even Spain having a subject, and this must be France having their own lands. Hungary expanding within the region nicely, going into the Italy less nicely, but at least Ravenna is their subject, so the Hungarian borders are not that bad, and they have lands in living order for themselves. It's not a subject. We'll be seeing Poland going into Lithuania and a bit into northern Germany. Bohemia pretty much conquering most of Holy Roman Empire, the part that they could conquer, just like in my meme that you can check over here. Ruthenia is actually doing pretty well. You see how much they conquered. Most of Russia being, like big chunk of Russia being in their hands, and fairly clean borders maybe outside of them colonizing Siberia. And Sweden, it seems to be also very often happening that they go into Denmark and they go into northern Russia, while for some reason we've got Bohemian subject in the place of northern Norway. Mamluks doing strong, besides going a bit into Anatolia, they expanded into Nubia. We've got big Somalia, we've got plenty of various colonies from the western countries, and West Africa is pain. Timuride conquered plenty and survived. These borders are not bad. This is terrible. We've got actually Georgia doing really nice borders, maybe except what they're doing in Anatolia. And I think the best borders that we're having are the borders in India. Look at this VJ. 63 million people over here with 2.3 million army. We've got Jaunpur and Hoysala, just 3 nations pretty much splitting India in similar way that we've often seen in EU4. Khmer going crazy into Indonesia. That's something I didn't expect. Why losing back at home with Dai Viet? This nation here nicely also united Burma, and I love their flag. Why Yuan actually survived in this timeline and kept Manchuria and Korea in their hands. Why in Japan we've got Yamato that united it, having actually 18 million people and 800,000 of troops. That's definitely a big change since this 1.010 overall, not this version of it, that AI has built many more troops than in the previous patches. Look, we've got 700,000 France, we've got Great Britain, revolutionary, that has 400,000, we've got Spain with 600,000, Ruthenia is running with actually just 170,000 of troops. What's their control? Did they like go bankrupt or something? No, it's pretty good. And that's also, you see, overall controls of various nations. They're doing really well with spreading their control. Just showing you a few of examples. How about the new word? Again, this is not really clear to read. That's why I'm gonna go to the cultures map mode. We see England colonized most of South America, but there also is plenty of France. We've got Norway doing strong. It's again more France. Plenty of Sweden. We've got Poland that actually was colonizing, and Hungary. Let's take a look at the biggest countries population-wise. Obviously, Yuan and India are the first two. Then we've got another country from India. We've got Egypt. We've got then Europeans. France with 34 million, Spain 33, Ruthenia 33, and Hungary with 30. Income-wise, we've got India. Actually, Hungary is number 2 with 21,000 of income. And then we've got Spain, Japan being number 4, Korea being number 5, and then we've got Bohemia and Poland that are still at the top. So it's actually interesting that Poland with this lands is having more income than France, Their actual base tax is 13,000, while France is at 11,000. So that's a fairly weak France actually. Nothing really interesting religion-wise in Europe, besides England going Lutheran instead of Anglican. While culture-wise, I also don't think I see anything really interesting, like a bit of Bohemia converting and a bit of England converting, but nothing on a massive, very visible scale. That's the literacy. Like usually we laugh at England being really low at the literacy. Here you see they are the greenest in the whole world. What happened to you one? What the hell is this? Just look, this whole world, and then there's Yuan. Anyway, a few pieces of feedback. Obviously it's a one-off time-lapse, so we can't really tell a lot out of it. The changes that they introduced definitely did reduce amount of the exclaves and the Bordergore, but doesn't mean that there's no Bordergore, as you see. And that's again, I think the main reason for that is simply the quantity of locations. In U4, if AI took 1 or 2 locations in the wrong place, it didn't look that tragic. There was still Bordergore in U4, but it wasn't that visible because of the difference in the quantity of locations. So I still think there should be something down for the AIs to much more prioritize, not only not taking exclaves, but also prioritizing completing the provinces, not just taking random locations here and there. Then we also notice that in pretty much every game, Great Britain focuses on the lowlands, Castile killing Portugal, Lithuania dying every single time Ruthenia going strong, every single time Mamluks not collapsing. So definitely I still do think that there should be historical friends and enemies introduced as a game option for people that want the historical stuff to more happen. And there should be, and some of you might not agree, I still think there should be lucky nations, and again as an option, historical or random, and also changing in each age. So not just same the lucky nations being the same for the whole game, but actually changing for each age. So this way the game would be a bit more dynamic and giving chance, smaller or mid-sized countries to beat the bigger ones. Because here we always see Bohemia dominating age 3 in the current patch. Anyway, leave your feedback as usual in the comments, like it, dislike it, but I'm happy to keep sharing you how the game changes with each of the patches and where it is going. For today, thanks for watching and I'm gonna see you soon. Bye!